Hi, this is Senora DeVries, and I am recording Chapter 11, the title of which is To Declare Independence or Not. Before I start off, I would like to apologize for the scan that I have in the background. I had to do the scan feature off of my phone, so that's not nearly as good as the copier at school, so just know that. I wish the copy could be a little bit better, but we will work with what we have. So this is part 1 of chapter 11. What were the arguments for and against colonial independence from Great Britain? 11.1 Introduction. In chapter 10, you learned that tensions between Great Britain and the American colonies had grown between 1754 and 1775. In this chapter, you will read about colonists who argued for and against independence or separation from Great Britain. People for independence no longer wanted Great Britain to rule the colonies. These colonists were called patriots. Some patriots argued for their cause in speeches and newspaper articles. Others took stronger action, such as joining mobs that attacked the homes and businesses of those who disagreed with them. Colonists who remained loyal to Great Britain were called loyalists. Some loyalists gave speeches arguing that the colonies should remain under rule of Great Britain. Other loyalists took stronger actions, such as armed attacks against the patriots. Many colonists remained neutral or did not take sides. They were neither loyalists nor patriots. As you read this chapter, use this T-chart to track how important colonists felt about independence. The loyalists on the left-hand side of the T-chart argued against independence. The patriots on the right-hand side of the T-chart argued in favor of becoming a country separate from Great Britain. Why did some colonists want to remain under the rule of Great Britain and its king? Why did others want the colonies to be independent? So here you can look at that T-chart, and this is a preview of who will be on what side. (11.2) Who were the Loyalists and Patriots? The colonies were divided over the question of independence. Historians disagree about how many colonists chose each side. Some believe there were more patriots than loyalists, but probably less than half of the colonists were patriots, and less than half were loyalists. The rest were neutral. The loyalists included many kinds of people. Some were rich landowners. They feared that patriot mobs might take their property. Some loyalists were governors who had been appointed to their jobs by King George III. These men liked their government, and they felt that it was their duty to make sure that British laws were obeyed in the colonies. Other loyalists were religious leaders who believed that the king's power came from God. Many of them were members of the Church of England, Great Britain's official church. They believed that it was wrong to oppose the king. They told their followers, "You have a duty to be loyal to the church and to the king." Many colonists were patriots. This group included merchants who lived in and around the city of Boston. They were angry about British taxes on goods such as tea and paper. The taxes hurt their businesses because many colonists boycotted the taxed goods. Some patriots were lawyers. They fought in the courts against British laws that they thought were unfair. They believed that the colonists should have had more say in making the laws that directly affected them. Some historians think that less than half of the colonists supported King George III, shown here. So that's King George III in that picture. Some patriots were farmers. Others were people who worked at crafts such as printing, shipbuilding, and making clothes. They agreed with patriot leaders who said that independence would bring more freedom and wealth to the colonies. In this chapter, you will learn about 3 loyalists and 3 patriots. As you read about these people, think about why they felt the way they did. What reasons did they give for being a loyalist or a patriot? All right, and our next one we have Tom Hutchinson, a loyalist governor. Thomas Hutchinson was a Loyalist who lived in Massachusetts. The king named him the Royal Governor of Massachusetts in 1771. He was a dedicated official, but over time Hutchinson became one of the most hated men in the colonies because he always sided with the British against the Patriots. Hutchinson was a thin, serious man who rarely smiled. He didn't like to show his feelings. Although he was a successful businessman, he didn't wear fancy clothes. As an official serving the king, Hutchinson firmly believed in enforcing British laws such as the Stamp Act of 1765. Patriots were furious about the Stamp Act. One night, an angry mob burst into Hutchinson's home. The mob stole money and broke furniture. They also destroyed his prized collection of books. From then on, Hutchinson was a bitter enemy of the Patriots. As a Loyalist, Hutchinson believed that the colonists could not govern themselves without the British king to guide them. He thought that King George III knew what was best for the colonists, because the king was wise and experienced. Hutchinson also wrote that British people who lived overseas, such as the colonists, could not expect to have the same freedom that British people in Great Britain enjoyed. In 1774, some patriots embarrassed Hutchinson by printing some letters that he had written to the British government. The letters said that Great Britain should be tougher on the colonists. When colonists read his letters in the newspaper, many more of them turned against him, and they became convinced that getting fair treatment for the colonies from Great Britain was not possible. Thomas Hutchinson was a Loyalist. The king named him the governor of Massachusetts. He enforced British laws that were not popular in the colonies. (11.4) Jonathan Boucher, Loyalist religious leader. Reverend Jonathan Boucher was a British religious leader. He used his sermons to spread his Loyalist belief. Boucher first came to the colonies as a young man in 1759. Later, he went back to Great Britain. There he became a priest in the Church of England. Then he returned to the colonies. He became a well-known religious leader in Maryland. Many people in the colonies liked Boucher because he was intelligent and full of charm. He was balding and usually wore spectacles or glasses. Boucher was full of energy and ambition. He was a forceful man who was comfortable talking in front of large groups. Boucher was never afraid to speak his mind, no matter how many people disagreed with him. As a minister, he expected everyone to obey his teachings. He used his talents in his occupation to argue for the Loyalist cause. And then here we have a picture of him on the left-hand side. Jonathan Boucher was a British religious leader. He lived in Maryland. His sermon spread his Loyalist belief. Boucher preached that the king's power came from God. He said that Christians had a special duty to obey British laws. Disobeying the king was like disobeying God. Boucher did not believe that common people were capable of ruling. He argued that the colonists should obey British laws for their own good. He said that these laws came from God and made his life safer and better for most colonists. Finally, Boucher warned that working for independence was dangerous. These actions could lead to a war with Great Britain. Such a war would hurt thousands of people, far worse than living with the few unfair laws would. Boucher's Loyalist sermons made some patriots angry. They threatened to hurt him. Realizing that he was in danger, Boucher began keeping a loaded pistol nearby when he gave his sermons. All right, and you have just finished part 1, and part 2 will be available as well.